Now, I've not interviewed anyone on Spark TV who has taken that approach of there being that entity that already exists and then essentially doing the joint venture. What did that process look like?
Well, it was a 3-year deal that myself and Sharon set up, and I took a loan from the business, and in return worked for a reduced salary in year 1 kind of thing, and then in year 2 the business needed to stand on its own 2 feet, be cash neutral, and in year 3 profitable, pay back the loans, and then I moved into a majority shareholding position kind of thing.
Wow.
So it was the right deal for me and for them, because I think what I see when some people who have done similar things to me, sometimes the deals are not really favorable to the person who's actually starting the business in another market, like starting a business in another market where the brand isn't actually known. There's no handouts from global. There is, they like, although there is lots of things that you can draw from them, it's a completely different market kind of thing.
Yeah.
So, LinkedIn was an amazing thing, for me. That was really starting to kick off in 2011. And I was fortunate that I had some clients that I'd worked with who had immigrated over here. London is always tapped for its marketing talent in Australia. So, there was some good connecting of the dots, but that's certainly what helped me. So the deal was structured in that way. It made it motivating for me, because I think that, I see a lot of people have, do a lot of work for a relatively small shareholding, and that either needs to come from capital or it needs to come from sweat equity. There needs to be some sort of value exchange there, and I think for me it really worked. And longer term for my business partner, I say my boss because I guess I still sometimes see her as my boss. I was an accountant, but really I'm a peer now. It was motivating.
Yeah. Oh, I could not agree with you more, because I see that in, we have these typical startups who raise capital and these term sheets that really don't favor the founder. And I'm like, that person is just like working 24/7 to make this a reality. You've got to structure a deal to incentivize them and make them motivated.
Yeah, 100%. And look, longer term, it's better for people to have, it's better for whoever the original investor is to have a smaller piece of a bigger pie and keep that person, because I think that otherwise anybody who does that job, and if they end up having a bit of a crap deal, I think, they could just turn around and it depends on what your contract terms are. They're probably going to turn around and say, actually, I don't want you, I'm over this. I'll start again kind of thing. So there's, the longevity piece and getting the deal structure to be motivational for both parties. It's in the investors' interests as well, because then they're going to be able to, the lifetime value of, a smaller share of profits coming in over, a decade is better than, having that lion's share and then having somebody say, actually, it's my guts, your glory.
No, I totally agree. I mean, in saying that though, so as I think about, you talk about the 3-year deal. So going from loan to then being cash neutral to then being profitable, that's still pretty much, that's a lot of pressure in 3 years though as well. How did you go with that?
Oh, look, I think, again, you don't know what you don't know, but I think that is like the right path. I think that, if you, I think that's what it has to be. Otherwise, there's sort of, there's no light at the end of the tunnel kind of thing. And I think, females sometimes can play things quite small kind of thing as well, and I'm a big fan of how Emma Isaacs sort of talks about that, females sort of often have these sort of small kitchen businesses kind of thing, when in reality, those businesses are far harder than a bigger business to run kind of thing, because they're sort of playing small. So, it definitely wasn't easy, particularly since I borrowed money at quite a good rate and then had to pay it back. So it was actually like, I had some Forex issues that went against me. But, I think just having those milestones set in place, it can become quite real. And before you know it, you're doing that kind of thing. And I think that, when I look at other people's businesses in different sectors, it's all very similar trajectories, really, kind of thing. Like there's all the smoke and mirrors of, everybody else's business is so much more successful than mine. But, often those ones which are outwardly successful, they're losing lots of money kind of thing. The founder isn't paying themselves. It's not really a proper business kind of thing. So, I think, yes, I just think that a 3-year structure like that is realistic and really the business is viable then. Otherwise, I would say if you're not hitting those milestones, and this is totally my, opinion of it, I think it's probably time to rethink what the business is.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, I could not agree more. My philosophy is if you're not paying yourself, if you're not profitable, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Like who wants to work for free? Like that is not why we go into business.
No, it's not motivating. And I think that, it's you won't be able to continue that without having some resentment. And I think also everybody's got bills to pay, you've got families. And, I think that's why I often say to friends who are like, I'm thinking of starting my own business. I'm like, why? You have an amazing job, really good salary. You could do something entrepreneurial within your own organization to itch that, sort of scratch kind of thing. As I say, there doesn't have to be this, entrepreneur thing where, it's just this unique idea and, nobody's ever thought, there's more than one path to becoming a business owner.
Yeah, I love that so much. And I think part of the problem is we get, a bit of shiny object syndrome. We see the headlines, we see the unicorns, and we kind of think, oh my God, my life would be amazing if I was just a startup unicorn. And they call them unicorns for that reason. They don't exist.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. I know that. As I say, it's always so easy to compare yourself and compare other people's success. And of course, people, that's the dream kind of thing. But, there's nothing bad about having a successful, smaller, profitable business kind of thing.
Yeah.
You pay yourself a salary, you get some dividends, it's, there's a lot of businesses out there, they're so obsessed with this like cult of entrepreneurship and they're not actually profitable businesses. And for me, sometimes I look at that, I'm just like, wow, it's, I'm like, why, what's that's, you're not a charity.
Yeah. And I think sometimes it is a little bit of headline grabbing, it feels like people, and look, I'm guilty of this. When we started Scrunch, my influencer marketing business a decade ago, it's like that was what the culture was. You have to go out and raise capital. You have to spend it all. You have to build these huge technology platforms. And we did all of that. And it wasn't until we kind of went, oh my God, this is like a hamster wheel that we do not want to be on, that we kind of like went, we're getting out of this startup scene and just going to run a profitable, bloody business. Yeah. And it's so much more rewarding and fulfilling and less stressful as well.
Yeah, totally. I think, it's a real scene kind of thing. And I think that, that would be something that I would say to people starting a business is just be careful how, be careful which communities you're really mixing in. If you are the sum of the 5 people you spend time with, make sure they're actually people that A, inspire you, but B, have got profitable businesses themselves, because some people on these, on the speaker circuit and things like that, if you scratch beneath the surface, there's a lot of sizzle and not a lot of sausage.
Yeah. Oh my God, that's so true.